Hi, it's Renee. It's John's girlfriend, and I'm just going to talk about, we've had some interesting discoveries while making this website, and one of them is the area in which John grew up in. He was just downwind from a place called the Stringfellow Acid Pits, to be exact. And I'm not from California. I wasn't raised here. I was raised in Colorado. So I'm unfamiliar. I was unfamiliar with the Stringfellow Acid Pits. So I did a little research on what is the Stringfellow Acid Pits, and what my research has shown so far is this is the history behind it. There was a man named James Stringfellow, and he was a rock quarryman, and he owned quarries, and he dug rock to put it in Long Beach and various other places. And in the early 1950s, he was approached by officials of California to perhaps do some dumping of some industrial waste in this area in Riverside, California. And it was basically a bowl or a valley, and it had granite. And at first, he did not want to do it. And there was a geologist that came out and ran a test and said, this has got such good rock that if we pour the chemicals in here, nothing will happen. They won't go into the water table. And when they finally did investigations, years later, they discovered that geology test cost $300 to do, and it took 30 minutes to do. So it was kind of a duped geological survey. So Stringfellow looked at that report and said, okay, you guys can dump your industrial waste here. And from the years of 1955 to 1972, many corporations dumped their industrial waste into this valley. Hughes Aircraft dumped their items. Sunkist Corporation, all the pesticides. GE, many corporations dumped their waste. There was 34 million gallons of industrial waste poured into this valley between the years of 1955 and 1972. And in 1972, Stringfellow ditched that area and said, I don't want to have any part of this. And he turned it over to the state of California. And in the area, and then in the 70s, there was also a lot of flooding, and there was a lot of weather and items, and people in the area were complaining of rashes, skin irritations, and it was always denied that this acid pit that was up the hill had any part to do with any of these health conditions. So Stringfellow moved to Orange County, and he died in 1996, I believe, at the age of 66. And the woman that really headed the effort, Penny Newman, who I've been researching her as well, really made it a point that he was really as much of a victim of this whole thing as anybody else. He didn't know. He was handed over a geological survey. He believed them, and in the early 50s, we didn't really know what industrial waste could do. I mean, can you imagine 34 million gallons of all sorts, rocket fuel, pesticides? I mean, it was a cancer cocktail. So that's a little history on the Stringfellow Acid Pits, and we're doing more research as we go. So thank you so much.